I'd like to share with you about the first Thanksgiving. You know, where the table is set with the bounty of all the good things we're going to partake, where people have gathered around of all ages with big smiles anticipating a wonderful time together, where they will share a memory or build a brand new memory. And as I tell my story, maybe you want to use this on your Thanksgiving occasion. Maybe it'll bring a tear to your eye or laughter to your heart. Maybe you can embellish it and make it yours. But see, the first Thanksgiving that I want to share is the one that I had with my wife's family. Yes, we have the story of the Pilgrims, but my first Thanksgiving with my wife's family was quite the event for me. We had just been introduced. I didn't know these people from Adam. And so we traveled to her home in Rochester, New York, to meet these people for the first time, to share in this meal together. My wife and I are getting to know each other, and so we're learning about our own personal customs, our own families, and the times that we spend together. I remember her saying to me, my mom really likes to make Thanksgiving very, very special. And so she's going to have the complete table set with all of the best china, all of the best housewares. Everything's going to be there. It's going to be really, really cool. So she reminds me, just do what you're supposed to do. And I say, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So she gives me a little bit of a tutorial. You know, there's this many forks for this reason. There's this many of this for this reason. There's this plate over here and then this serving dish over here. And she walks me through it. I'm one of four boys. And so we grew up where Thanksgiving was equal to the football game. The Lions playing football. Our schedule kind of rotated around that. So the meal, although we had the meal wasn't this end-all moment. Well, we get there, and my wife has also reminded me, or I should say my girlfriend at the time, has reminded me that you need to move slow. This isn't hurry and get done so that you can get to where the game is being broadcast. This is to enjoy this moment. As we sit down for the meal, I've realized that my mother-in-law has decided to put little name cards at each place setting, determining where you will sit during the course of this meal. I was hoping that I would be sitting next to my girlfriend, but that was not the case. She sat me next to a 10-year-old boy, one of my wife's younger brothers, and we had just gotten to know each other, and so we had a pretty good relationship, but I'm sitting there with this 10-year-old boy hoping that I could be near my girlfriend, but I'm not. The meal begins, and of course I am trying to move slow and be as particular as I can because I'm trying to make my wife happy or my girlfriend happy. And I'm trying to make an impression that I'm not this long-haired, bearded, weird-looking college kid. Well, the potatoes come. And my emotions get the most of me, and I realize that with the potatoes, if I'm not careful, when I take that scoop of potatoes and I go to put it to my plate, if I'm not careful, I'm going to clink the plate with the utensil. I fight that urge, so I jerk that spoon a little bit more than I should, and guess what? I miss my plate. Actually, I missed the table. The potatoes fall to the floor. There, at the foot of the table, right next to my shoe, is a nice big wad of beautiful white mashed potatoes. Now, I was trying to remain a little bit invisible in this moment, so I decided I wouldn't try to bring any attention to it. But what was I going to do? Now, what didn't help the situation was that sitting next to a 10-year-old boy, this is a funny moment. And so giggles began. There is some correction coming from the other end of the table where Mom realizes that it's not time for giggling. This is Thanksgiving dinner. Well, I reach down, I pick up those mashed potatoes, and I hold them in the palm of my hand on my lap, hidden from all others. And that makes the 10-year-old laugh even more. Then I decide, well, maybe as I'm remaining invisible, I will put my napkin over the top of that hand of mashed potatoes. Maybe I'll find a space when I can excuse myself and take care of the situation. But that makes the 10-year-old laugh a little bit more. Now, at this point, Mom has decided that she needs to get up from the table, come down, and find why the 10-year-old is having such a wonderful time. And there she finds me with a handful of mashed potatoes. She takes it from me and kind of tries to remove the embarrassment of this moment, my first Thanksgiving. Well, as the meal went on, I found that I was the slowest eater in the group, which is amazing because I don't like anything. I'm a very particular eater. And here I am, I find that they're all waiting for me so they can get to dessert. How awkward did that feel? Here I was told to slow down. I slowed down to the point where I was slowing down the entire train. No one was getting off for dessert till I was done. That was my first Thanksgiving. And I'll never forget it because it's a memory for me. It's a memory of that first encounter with people, with my first awkwardness in that situation. But I'll never forget it because it was the first time I walked into that family and I was received even in the midst of my attempt to be invisible, my attempt to do things the proper way. I want to leave you with one thing that I have learned this year. And as you gather with friends and family, and maybe you don't have that opportunity to gather with friends and family, this is what I've learned about thankfulness and gratefulness. See, too often thanks moves too fast in our culture. We grab whatever we need and we say thanks, and we're done. But if you'll take the time to reflect, which means invest some time, if you'll reflect on what you're thankful for, really invest that time of reflecting on what you're thankful for, the byproduct of what you'll get out of that is a grateful heart. And I have learned that a grateful heart always produces joy. That's it. Happy Thanksgiving.